Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Oh, welcome everyone. I'm glad you all made it here for episode 467 of the Massenomics podcast. We are the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy, and I have wool in my hair.
That's perfect. I was just thinking if I was you, my hair would definitely be made out of wool.
Very woolly.
I think before we get started, we need to address the 800-pound gorilla in the room, your couch. You have a couch.
Are just up in arms. There has been a couch added over my shoulder here. It's the craziest thing to happen in the history of Massenomics. Yes, that is an actual real couch. There are more upgrades coming.
Is that like a prop couch where you go to a prop shop?
It's just a green screen. Look, I just can't actually ever touch it. It never comes. It's just way back there. Yes, there are more upgrades to come. I was gone for like the last 4 days again because if there's one thing I'm not enough of, it's gone enough. So I was just gone for 4 days, but I do have some more things getting added. I got pictures picked out for back here. So I was just say, maybe for next week, but also things aren't looking too good time-wise. We'll see how that goes. Yes, Keith, the old casting couch.
You know what things are looking good? The things over at buildfastformula.com. Just a few of the things they got over there that are looking so good are their Full Blitz, fully loaded pre-workout formula, their Vaso Blitz, their dual nitric oxide support supplement, and their 80-20 Nature's Protein Ratio blend protein powder. They're all looking real nice. Buildfastformula.com, supplements we use, the supplements we trust, the supplements that you can save 10% on every time you order by using discount code Massenomics. So hop over to buildfastformula.com and give them a try. Thanks, BuildFast.
This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Texas Power Bars are made in a little place called Texas, which is where the name comes from. And right now, for a very limited time, you can get free shipping on all your bars. That can be a fairly significant savings if you live somewhere a little off the beaten path like we do here in the corners of the Dakotas. So that can be a pretty decent discount on your new bar. What bar do you get? Well, that's a great question. We recommend the 29mm Texas Power Bar, the original Texas Power Bar, Texas Deadlift Bar, maybe even a Texas Squat Bar or Texas Bench Bar if you're in a Fed that allows that and you want to train on the real deal. Those are all great options. So head on over to TexasPowerBars.com. Take advantage of that free shipping, and no code is needed there. Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
Yeah, so the biggest news we covered on one of them, Tommy got a couch. Number 2, I am wearing a T-shirt underneath my crew neck.
Oh, God.
So, 2 important things
Double
to
layered
discuss
over
this
there.
week. Yeah, staying warm. Although I barely even need a crew neck. It was 70 degrees in western northeast South Dakota today.
It's just the tropics over here. It's so nice.
It's a little thing in the biz they like to tell you. They call it a false spring. That's what they get you.
I think we're supposed to get a blizzard this weekend, aren't we? Have I seen that?
I heard things. I don't know. I heard things and stuff. That's usually what happens when they reel you in with a 70-degree day and then they beat you back down with a little March blizzard.
That false sense of hope.
Yep. No false sense of hope, just straight up awesome real hope is our Arnold merch drop. Everything, all the new stuff that we had at the Arnold we're unveiling on our website this week. So by the time this comes out, for real, it's all available still, or at least what's left of it. There was the Deadlifter tee in red, the new improved, brand new look Deadlifter tee. We've had that black one for over half of a decade.
Yeah, like
that black.
I like
that
to measure
black
time
Deadlifter
in
tee has been available for sale on our site for over 5 years,
Yeah,
and I guarantee someone's going to be like, "Oh, I wish I could get that black
one. Sold out? I've been waiting forever." Yeah. My favorite time measurement. What portion of a decade are we referring to here? quarter of a decade, half a decade.
So we now have the red deadlifter tee on the Comfort Colors blank, the boxier blank, the larger fitting upper body blank. We also brought back our Dark Side tee, which is the Pink Floyd parody tee. That's on black Comfort Colors tee also. And then for the Comfort Colors trifecta, Massenomics gym tee. We've always got a color in rotation, and this time we got it on brick. What do you call brick? It's like a light maroon.
Yeah.
It's like if maroon and pink and red
like
and
a faded
every other
maroon,
shade met in a
of.
dark alley, and out comes brick. That's the
And had a
color it is.
baby. Had a baby in a dark alley.
And the last, of course not least, our black mesh shorts. We got it now in the lifting department logo. So we've had black mesh shorts. We've had lifting department shorts before, but never before we had black mesh lifting department shorts until now.
It's like the lifting department and the black shorts met in an alley.
They went down dark alley, and out comes walking the black mesh lifting department shorts. And then I wouldn't want to meet them in a dark alley. No. I'll tell you that much.
Nope. Your lower garments will be covered.
Yeah, we leave having very fashionably covered lower body. Actually, the more I talk about it, I would want to meet them in a dark alley. That and a brick Massenomics gym tee, you'd be set. So whatever's left, check it out. It's probably all sold by now.
Well, we will. Well, by the time this is playing, if you're listening to this, we did take these items to the Arnold, so sizing is already very weird on them.
Yeah, there's like two 2X red deadlifter tees. So if you're a 2X in the
good luck. Try again next year.
You're probably not going to get it. I'm just looking at the pile right now, and I can just tell you're probably not going to get one. You're screwed. Yeah. By the time if you were waiting to listen to this to try and order, those are definitely sold out.
Mm-hmm. No chance.
Speaking of going on a little trip, we've got a little trip to go on, don't we?
Yeah, we got to let that cat out of the bag here.
Yeah, I don't know that this hasn't been released for public knowledge, for public consumption, but we'll let everyone consume it now. Actually, the day that this comes out, we are going to be on our way home already from our trip. The day that this episode comes out, we will be on our way home. We liked the Carolinas so much last time, hurricane and all. We decided we're going back. So not to Cali this time, but we're going back to North Carolina. We're flying into Charlotte, North Carolina on Friday this week. So in just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days from now, we're flying out. Well, I've been home for so long from the Arnold. It's like, oh, finally we can go somewhere.
Well, I was gone for a week, and so I'm like, well, God, if I'm going to be gone, I was just gone for a week. I need to go to Aberdeen. So, I was just in Aberdeen for 3 days.
Oh, were you in Aberdeen?
Yeah, I just got back like an hour ago.
Was your Tahoe at your in-laws last night?
Yeah.
Oh, I drove by, and until now I didn't piece it together. I thought that looked like yours, and then I was like, I didn't realize you were in Aberdeen.
Yes, I was in Aberdeen.
I was out for a cruise last night, and I actually noticed that. I noticed it now that I think about it, but I was paying so little attention at the time that I wasn't really thinking about it.
I mean, that wouldn't be my assumption either. That there's a black Tahoe. That clearly has to be Tommy, but.
Well, I was also just jamming to some sick ass tunes, so I was
the Doobie Brothers were just in full effect.
But actually, now that I think about it, I did see your Tahoe there last night.
Misconnection.
Yeah,
it's actually actually
would have been great.
Night.
I could have stopped and we could have talked about Massenomics stuff.
God, what were we thinking? The funny part is I was outside most of last night, until it was actually dark. So I must have just missed you too.
Yeah, and it wasn't dark yet.
Yeah.
God, we could have done so much Massenomics stuff.
Chalk body outlines on the driveway. My boy thought that was the craziest thing ever.
Yeah, it's classic. Yeah, it's a classic one.
But anyways, we are going.
The outline ends up being so big.
What's that? Oh God,
you take like a little person, and then you have this giant outline. And like, why is the outline?
I did my
so
boy,
big?
and I'm like, it's actually pretty big. And then he did mine. I'm like, that thing is enormous. That's actually a bunch of
Greg
space
Doucette.
I take up. Yeah.
What did Greg Doucette do this chalk
Greg,
outline?
there are giants among us.
Did we say? I forget? We didn't really say what our trip is.
We just said we're going to North Carolina. That's all the farther we got.
Yeah, we're going to. What are we going to do this time?
We are going. Well, I don't know if we can tell a ton, but we are going to
Okay.
Juji's again. Back to Juji's.
Yeah.
That's short for
be a
Juji Mufu for people that aren't in the know.
Big Juji, and there's going to be a group of us there this time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Actually, I guess I don't know if it's our. Well, by the time this comes out, though.
Well, but I don't know if we would. Yeah, I don't know how much we would have said or how much would have been out, but yeah,
Right. We better not spoil too much.
Yeah, it's not ours
I
to
guess.
spoil.
Yeah, it's from what we understand, it should be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I assume if you follow along on our Instagram over the next week, you should see stuff in there. Will likely be a lot of YouTube content to come through it for sure on Juji's channel. Also, hopefully some on our channel.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't just be us there. There's kind of a group getting together. Like
maybe the biggest collaboration.
Some of America's
All-Stars.
top minds, I would say.
That's right. Top minds, top physical specimens, all meeting in one location.
And us.
And us. Yeah. Exactly.
So we're excited for it. We're not exactly positive what will all come out of it. You know, this isn't. I guess what I'd say about this trip is it's not our. Every trip we normally go on, it's like our content production, and this is not really our content production. So, we usually are. We're very used to being in control of what's going to go on,
and that is not
the
the case
plan.
this time. Yeah,
yeah, that is not the case. So. We're along for the ride. So we really won't do any gym tours though or anything because we're
tied up
content mode. The rest of it. So you'll see more of it when we come back. We as Tommy said, we probably can't spoil it, but we should hopefully have a lot of fun and there should be some entertainment that comes out of it. I think for sure.
I think so.
Did you see that the Massenomics drink spotter is pretty fancy now?
Okay, I actually loved how you broke this news to the Discord. So we'll give the behind the scenes here, but I really love that in the Discord you put a message saying, what was the phrasing you used?
It was very intentional phrasing, and you would know that.
Magazine has recently featured Massenomics.
Magazine that we've had our eyes on for quite some time.
And I love everyone's comment, reaction right away is, this will ruin the bit. If this is Aberdeen Magazine, this will ruin the bit. But rest assured,
we did not make it into Aberdeen Magazine, of course. Still on an Aberdeen Magazine drought.
Still, South Dakota-based publications do not find any interest in anything Massenomics has going on. Instead, we had to skip directly to national magazines, and that was GQ decided that the Drink Spotter XL belonged on a list of, what was it, best home gym equipment?
Yeah, I think it was just generally speaking, best home gym equipment.
I mean, we are big home gym nerds over here. We know a thing or two about home gym equipment. So if you're going to make a list, I certainly think we belong on it.
The others on the list are like Peloton,
Bowflex. I think might have some, Rep might have been on there. Yeah, just a lot of real legit companies that produce fitness equipment, and then the Drink Spotter made the list as well. But
so
the email was
it.
so funny. You forwarded it to me. So Tanner forwards me an email. Was that Friday morning?
I think so, something like that.
You forwarded me an email, and I'm looking, and there's so many AI junk spam emails that are just scraping stuff.
Yeah.
But this one right away kind of seemed like that. But the guy had an email at gq.com.
Yeah.
And he had an actual title. It seemed to kind of check out. And then you click on the link, and the link did in fact take you to the GQ website where the Drink Spotter was on the list. So
yeah,
what I thought was maybe fake right away turned out to be very real. And I had to call you because it was so funny. It was so stupid that was also how we found out. There wasn't a heads up or anything. It was like, hey, oh, by the way, this has been published and released. And I really want there to be a print copy. And I went to Barnes & Noble that day looking for the actual magazine. They only had the February issue in. March was not out yet. So I'm hoping that in the March issue it does make the cut, because it would be very funny to have that framed and hung on the wall. So we will see
Oh.
if that actually comes to
That would
exist here.
absolutely make it. Yeah, and it turns out one of the GQ guys is a supporting member. So that was
Yes.
our hook. No secret there. The crew supporting member crew strikes again. And Keith does not know what GQ is. Well, I'm reading the live chat here.
Man, I don't know. It's just a magazine, man.
Yeah.
It's been around a long time.
It's like a ritzy Maxim. What's Max?
To me, Maxim always felt more about like the girls. Where
Yeah.
GQ is more just like,
That's what I meant by ritzier, I guess, just less half
it's just
naked
more
women.
like men's, like, I don't know, a lifestyle fashion magazine,
Right.
you know, for a lot more higher end stuff too.
Like the Drink Spotter XL.
Exactly.
Luckily, the Drink Spotter XL made it because we were actually sold out of the Drink Spotter Light at the moment.
Mhm.
So they picked the perfect one to highlight
They
it
did.
also.
Perfect planning on their part.
Yeah. Arnold Recovery, you put that in here.
Dude, there is no sleep like the sleep you get the night after the first night in your bed after the Arnold. Oh, it is a deep slumber that you go into. And for that fact, also like the second and third night after the Arnold too. But I never got the sick feeling this year that I kind of get, like that wore down sick feeling that I have in previous years. I was just extremely tired for like 4 straight days afterwards.
I've been sick almost the entire time. I'm actually mostly getting over it now. So not like
Good thing we're hopping on a
debilitatingly
plane
sick.
again pretty soon here.
Yeah, actually, I will be I can tell by the time we go for that, I'll just be perfectly unsick. So actually, thankfully for the trip, I will not be sick, but I'll probably get sick.
You
like,
could
by
say
the
your
time we get back.
peaking is going perfectly, right?
Yes. But I don't know if we've ever gone to the Arnold and I've ever come back not sick from it. I actually don't think I've ever. I mean, usually I'm not violently ill, but I'm just like
something's off.
Yep, I'm definitely not what I would consider healthy. I don't think you can get around that many people for that long.
It's pretty hard
and
to
survive scot-free.
Yeah. I'm really thirsty, Tanner.
Oh, what are you drinking over there?
Oh, this old thing? Kirkland sparkling water lime.
Well, we've got a few drinks from the Arnold that I've
I know.
got to get you your half of.
I was going to say, you got them, right? I don't think they made it home
there's
with
like
me.
a handful of them that I'll have to.
People don't realize how challenging it is when they give us stuff at the Arnold for it all to make it home where it belongs.
We try to have a system, but that is a challenge. We also could have brought like 50 cases of rain home with us.
Oh, we could have brought unlimited cases of rain. They would have just kept trading. They were at the point where they were giving. Well, I mean, honestly, they probably would have just given them away for free anyways, but they were giving us like 3 cases per T-shirt. And it got to the point where it's like, okay, that's enough rain. That's enough.
If only either of us drank rain
right.
or energy drinks.
You know, if I drank this stuff, I'd be really excited right now. That was what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah. Should we do a little supporting our supporting members?
Yeah.
Got a few to support here this week. People have been using the supporting member channel in Discord appropriately. For anyone that isn't aware or is slightly unaware, this is a relatively new segment. It's a segment where each week on the podcast, we like to give back to those that support us. So these people have chosen to become supporting members. You can do that also. You go to massenomics.com/join. In return, you get things like a discount code that's only for supporting members. It's the only way you get in our Discord. You get to listen along live to the podcast while we record, if you so choose. It's the only way you do that. There's a whole bunch of stuff. We do mailings a couple times a year where you get kind of some free goofy stuff that we like to send out that only supporting members get to participate with. And you might get a shout out on supporting our supporting members like Big Buzz. Shout out to Big Buzz. He helped Gary by getting his their lost credit card in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
He went and picked it up from the wherever the restaurant and got it shipped out to
You
him.
don't get bailed out like that unless you got the crew connection.
You got to have the crew connection right there. Big Jordan won his 105 kilogram class at UKNS Eastern Canadian Strongman, which qualified him for Natty Worlds. Big Brian, not that Brian, ended his 11-year Army career and he is now off to his certified training facility to enjoy a little time. Then we have Big Lauren. He got third place in men's A-class Highland Games.
Nice.
Hitting multiple PRs, and everyone knows it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
Big Nick, CCA, competed in a powerlifting meet. He totaled 1,709 pounds, including a 705 pound squat. And Nick is certainly outstanding in his field. Nick's a sales agronomist, and he is absolutely outstanding in his field.
Just standing out there.
I've always said that about Nick. He is definitely outstanding in his field. Big Mad Cow finished a 50-kilometer trail race.
Is that like 1,000 miles?
Yeah, I think so. That's the conversion. Big David passed his audit. Big Garrett was accepted into KU Medical School.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What did we have here? Strongman Stewart has got a baby on the way, so they're going to hit a family PR. Big Brandon had his gallbladder removed.
Oh.
And
Those
Big
things-
Nate...
Those things weigh like 10 pounds. I think you should be down like a weight class now.
That's for sure, yeah. That thing is the size of a gallbladder almost.
That's where the old saying comes from, right?
He's listening live. He's said his was 36 pounds. And Big Nate, technical guy, updated the Massenomics Reviews site. What is that? Massenomicsreviews.com.
That's what I thought.
think
I
is the URL.
saw some chatter about
Yep.
this, but I didn't have a time to click on what was going on there.
Yeah, everyone head over to Massenomicsreviews.com. Big Nate just updated the site. That's where you can get a random review. You can get linked to the podcast, or it can link you easily to leave a 5-star review. We are currently at 560 5-star Apple Podcast reviews.
Ooh.
So we only need 40 to hit 600. 600 is the goal. Right at the top of the site, it says Massenomics Podcast, Road to 600. I'm calling it. We are on the road to 600. Every review that you leave right now could be the one that really gets us there to 600. So please, for the love of God, leave us a 5-star review on, you can either go through Apple Podcasts or you can click through Massenomicsreviews.com. You can also just see a hilarious 5-star random review.
That's what I'm
you
just
click on
looking
it.
at them. These are all great. Wow. Of course, the second one I see is from Keith. It's a hat you wear on your head.
How random is this?
Yeah. Oh, so much that I used my work phone to make a second review. I do remember reading that one the first time.
Yes, please. That's actually a really good point there. You know, do what you got to do. If you got to borrow your wife's phone, use your work phone, borrow a friend's phone when you're visiting with friends. Say, hey, can I borrow your phone for a little bit so I can leave a 5-star review on this podcast that I'm really into? And they'll be like, wow, that's weird. And be like, yeah, I know it's a little weird, but can I please do it? And they'll be like,
it's a
no,
thing I do.
Don't, you can't. I don't want you holding my phone for that long. Like, what if someone texts me and you see what they say? It could be like about you.
The risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah, so please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Also, make sure to check out the Strength Co. It's thestrength.co. They are the go-to plates of Massenomics Gym. We always put our Strength Co. plates in the most prime lifting area of the gym. That's where all the squats and deadlifts go on. I'll be honest, it's the only plates we trust to be able to handle that kind of load. So if you want to place a big load on, head over to thestrength.co. That's where you can buy their plates. They've got every size you can imagine, 45, 35, 25, 10, 5, 2.5, 1 1/4. Hondu's, I'm a big fan of their 10s. Real sleek design in the 10s. All the plates are black, smooth, E-coated, made in America, veteran found, veteran owned. Thestrength.co. They're okay.
Our guest has not arrived yet.
Oh, okay. Well, should we talk about more stuff?
Yeah, I got a quick one here for you. So I pull
All
into Aberdeen Saturday about noon.
I've been there before, yeah.
Yep, you know a thing or two about this place. And you had made a comment that after you purchased your Ford Freestyle, you know, as famously described on the Massenomics podcast, you're a proud Ford Freestyle owner, that after you purchased yours, you said there's a lot in Aberdeen. And when you said that, I'm like, well, is there a lot? And also, I'll pay attention in Sioux Falls. Like, Because I definitely was not looking out for that vehicle before. And it's one of those things where once you're looking for something, you start to see it.
Yeah.
Have not seen a single one in Sioux Falls because it's like I gotta get a feel for what this vehicle's like in person. But yeah, in the 2 or 3 weeks since we talked about this, have not seen a single one. I pull into Aberdeen. The very first stoplight we're at, there's a gold one, just like yours, in front of me at the stoplight.
It wasn't mine, though.
It had a sticker on the back windshield that was not like a sticker that you have. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Actually, there's a gold one right here, right in front of me.
That's not really the name of the color, but I know what you're trying to say.
Right? Yeah, it's champagne, whatever you want to call it. Much more
it's a very fancy
sophisticated.
name that I've forgotten.
Then we go over to Ryan's house for a minute, and we're driving back across town, and we're at a stoplight again, and I look in the parking lot, and there is a gray one sitting in a parking lot there, and I'm just like, really? I've been in this town for 30 minutes, and I've seen 2 Ford Freestyles already. That's now I didn't see another one the rest of the time I was there. But
Okay, I thought you were going to keep going.
The fact that I saw 2 in like 30 minutes was 2 more than I expected to see the entire trip, unless I was going to stop at your house. So
Pueblo Gold.
I could have swung by your
Big
house
Anthony.
and saw a third one, I guess.
Pueblo Gold. There we go.
Is that okay? I was just trying to look up the color because I knew it was something good. Pueblo Gold. That's awesome.
There's a reddish one in town for sure.
Really?
There's also like a light blue.
Really?
They must have made
The red one's got to
freestyling
look pretty sporty, I bet.
The red ones, I'm not going to lie, I saw the red one and I was a little bit jealous of it. I'm like, wow, that is pretty sweet.
I know. Get a wrap on it. That will have a guy wrap it. That'll really transform the vehicle.
Like a full Massenomics pattern wrap.
Right, yeah. Our guest has arrived, so I'm gonna start kicking people out. But we can still talk about the Ford Freestyle while I'm doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I envisioned this being like a 30-minute discussion. When I saw freestyle there, I'm like, all right.
Freestyle talk is just a new weekly segment we have.
He opened up a whole can of worms here. We were cruising in the freestyle tonight.
Well, yeah, I just assumed when you said you were cruising the other night that you were in the freestyle because, I mean, what else would you be cruising in?
Well, nothing really compares to the freestyle at this point, honestly, but
no, the smooth hum of its whatever engine. And okay, here we go.
I'm ready as silly goose.
So are you strapped in, ready for a silly goose time?
Yes, absolutely.
We better
I kicked the wife out, and now it's just us.
Yeah, we all kicked our wives out, so we're all ready. So big Nicolas Cambi, the Italian stallion. Welcome to the Massenomics podcast. We're excited to get you on here.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure meeting you guys the other day, and of course, let me do the grip challenge. But I'm glad to sit down with you guys and chat.
Yeah, so you probably like us just got back from the Arnold. Wait, where do you live at? I know, is it East Coast?
I don't know if you guys see it behind here, but that's the trademark John Hancock building. So Boston.
I've been there. I've been to the very top of that even, actually.
Jeez,
and I don't
Tanner,
even know,
you
didn't
had
even
to
know what I was
ask
looking
even.
at. Yeah.
Great views. Great safety.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the Italian stallion, and we were just at the Arnold together. You were there. You did a bunch of stuff at the Arnold this year, it looked like. What was your favorite part of the 2025 Arnold?
So I would have to say the animal cage, and that was probably I would say the big draw. When I got invited somewhere in December, it was before I even got invited to Europe, so I didn't really know what 2025 was going to look like. But being invited to the animal cage, very few strongmen actually get. In the past, have been invited to the animal cage. I don't know if you guys remember like a Grant Higa out of Seattle. Yeah. He was like he was the big inspiration to like now like Lucas had in that whole Seattle scene.
Yeah.
But Grant Higa's been in there, has done some like strongman events, but usually does like deadlift for reps. I want to say like Nick Best might have been in the cage, but someone said he wasn't.
I can picture that.
I can picture Mr. Best in there, right?
Yeah.
So going into the Arnold, it's my first kind of like showcase, kind of lifting. I almost treated it like almost like a competition day. First thing coming off the bicep surgery. So I don't know if you guys have any surgeries or anything, but it's as much a physical it is, it's also super mental. So coming back from that, like, how's my bicep got to hold up? Do I still have it? I'm almost 36. So do I still have it? So going in there, I want to do something kind of metal. Like I think originally I was thinking like a split jerk in the cage, but I feel like a split jerk is kind of fancy. It's not very like hardcore for it. So maybe like a Viper or a strict press would be much more animal cage ish. So heading in there, 385 was my best kind of Viper in there. I did 385 leading up to it. I did like 20-pound jumps, did 385, felt it was kind of wobbly, but I'm like, I can't leave it on that. So told the DJ, throw on Bangarang, throw on 20 pounds, a bit 20 pound PR. And I had to take a step forward, but nice and executed, smashed it. And I was like, I still got it. So that started off the week. That was at 12 p.m. on Friday. So that started off the weekend on a super high, and then worked the SBD booth, worked the zone booth, checked out the Strongman stuff. So it was a great weekend. A lot of old faces, a lot of new faces. Great to see everybody.
Yeah, I love the Viper press in the video. You get it locked out, and then you like shake the cage, and then you do like a flying elbow drop onto the crash pads, and it's good stuff.
I thought I was gonna because earlier in the attempts, I threw off my I needed like a new shirt because I was sweating too much. So I threw off and I started flexing and actually got like a pec cramp in reps. I'm like, I can't do that again. So I went with a different style, but I'm glad that I celebrated and didn't get hurt.
Yeah, it's cool to see a little bit more strongman stuff going on in the cage. Actually, I wonder if that'll be something that continues to
staple.
Yeah.
So Nadia Stowers did a great log last year. She came back and did like a super heavy bench, like 350 bench in there, which was nuts by like a middleweight woman. She sits at like 175, so like double body weight, right? And then of course it was Sam Bellevue and Evan Singleton both hitting super big dumbbells. I think Sam's was a world record. Evan Singleton's was probably like 30 or 35 pounds off a world record. So it's pretty cool and they did great. Everybody smashed it. No one like underperformed. So it was a great weekend in the cage.
So you're from Boston there. You've got the John Hancock Tower. You've got Fenway. Well, we're from South Dakota. We've got Mount Rushmore. And we play this little game each week called, it's called Mount Rushmore, so easy enough. And you
Very descriptive game.
You can probably assume we're kind of want you to pick your four favorite of something. And I was just thinking along the lines of the animal cage.
Ooh.
Would you have your Mount Rushmore of animal cage lifters over the years? You know, you've been to all-time animal cage lifters, and it can be for whatever reason you put those people in your Mount Rushmore. You know, it's your Mount Rushmore, so whoever you think goes in there. And I know you've been to the Arnold many times, so you've probably seen some stuff
I
firsthand.
can't remember some of like the animal cage expos I watched, maybe like when I first went in like 2015, 2016. But maybe I'll base it off like the last like couple of years. Something super impressive. So I would put probably John Hack on there. So guest on the podcast. I know you guys had him recently.
Yeah.
When of course, this year he pulled 900 or 903, which was, I think he was not as far ahead as his prep than he was last year, but last year he pulled 940, which was pretty nuts at his body weight. So, I think that's crazy. I think my buddy Ken Cooper.
We're buddies with Ken. He's a good dude. That's an excellent choice.
He's also wicked smart. He went to MIT here. So
yeah, that's right. We've had him on the podcast before. Also, he is wicked smart.
Oh, he did it. All right, I'll check out that one.
It's good. He's an interesting dude. Actually, he's got a lot going on.
Did he tell you about his bicep?
Yes.
He tore it recently, but
yes.
The only reason why he didn't get it fixed is because he didn't fit into the MRI machines, which is
he didn't tell us that part.
Sad, but it's just crazy. So
he did win the grip. He did pull the heaviest weight on our little grip challenge at the Arnold too. I
wonder if he did that with his good hand too, or his bicep hand. So
I don't know. So was impressive. Not to sidetrack, but so was yours a distal bicep tear?
Yes.
Then too? Is that you're saying? Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if I want to sure maybe some of it because it looks pretty attached. He wouldn't be able to do what he did if it was a full detachment. So right. I'm curious exactly, but there is some like scar tissue in there, so he'll figure it out. But he's still super strong.
Yes.
But even what he did last year he did like a huge squat into bench and then like repped out like 800. So I thought that was super cool. Even my bodybuilding coach, I don't know if you guys know Jose Raymond. He's from this area, but like a former Arnold Classic winner, 212. He even sent me that video. He's like, "This guy's a beast. You should do this." I'm like, "That's pretty impressive." So I got them too. I would have to throw in like someone like Dan Green. That's like who really kind of showed me on there. In the fourth would just have to be myself. I think I had the best celebration of the weekend. So
nice, yeah.
First time, and I don't know. I think that's the heaviest Viper that I've seen or have heard of. Kind of in that kind of setting, like outside of training. I would say I'm only about 30 pounds off the heaviest Viper that I know. So maybe
who would it be?
So the heaviest one is by a guy named Tyler Conn from New
Oh, yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Super strong guy. I think one year he was probably like the strongest guy not to be a world's strongest man. So I'm waiting for his return. But it was one time where I went down to New Jersey. I asked Tyler Conn, I'm like, I'm going for a 400-pound push press for the first time. If you do 400 before me, like if I see it, I'll do it. So he went out into Viper 400 pounds for me, so I could do a 400-pound push press. So this is a couple of years ago. But he's a great dude as well.
Yeah.
But I do have
that's a good
I do
Mount
have a
Rushmore,
question.
though. Yeah,
I do have a question about the Rushmore. So
Yeah.
you have the four heads. So if you're like looking at it, so next to it, it looks like there's like on the other side, or say, looks like there's like a Megatron face. Do you guys ever like see the conspiracy that it's like an alien, like they put like an alien face next to the four heads? You know what I'm talking
I don't
about?
know if I've ever heard that conspiracy before.
Yeah, like you're saying, like if you're looking at it, it'd be like off to the right hand side. There's like something there.
Off to the left, like where
on
like
the left,
yeah,
like
where it's
left on the other side of George Washington.
Yeah.
Then okay.
So it looks like it almost looks like it has like no nose, and it looks almost like an alien face. So I'm a little bit outside of Strongman. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. So
yeah, okay. I don't know. I've never noticed it that much.
Yeah,
so
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, I mean, maybe, but yeah, I've never heard people say that before. That's interesting.
So you guys will have to do your investigative work for me and go check it
Yeah,
out.
we'll get some up close and personal photos. Just
Thank
kidding.
you.
You can't actually get all that close, or else I think you are swarmed by people immediately. So
Ooh, so maybe they're hiding something. So there you go. The Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, it's the Declaration of Independence. Yeah.
what's the Nick Cage movie?
National Treasure.
National Treasure. Yeah, that's what it is. You're looking kind of like a large mammal. I don't know what size shirt we got from you there, but must be large mammal size.
Either 2 or 3X. So
Okay.
I'm glad I have a large mammal. Of course, I have the bison shirt. And
A
one of the
large
reasons
mammal.
I picked the bison, I know of course it's of course they're probably native around you guys, but I don't know if you ever heard. My buddy Steve Tripp likes to talk about the story of the bison, where cows will run away from the storm, but the bison, the buffalo, will run right into the storm. So it's like running right into adversity. Don't run away from it. Run right towards it. So the buffalo runs into the storm.
That's good. I would say the bison is probably the largest plains mammal, but I got a question for you. Do you happen to know what the largest mammal in the world is? Tommy,
Blue
you can
whale?
also
I would guess a whale of some kind, right?
it is the blue whale. You are
all right.
correct. That is
I
the
was
largest.
thinking I was thinking if there might have been a trick question in there, but
Right.
That's not a trick question. How about this? What's the largest land mammal in the world?
not like the Serengeti elephant, is it?
It has to be an elephant, right?
Yeah, it's the African elephant, I guess.
All
So I would accept Serengeti elephant. I think that's correct. How about this? One last one on large mammals. Do you happen to know what the largest non-elephant land mammal is?
Ooh, now that's a good question, actually. Okay.
Because I was going through these and I'm like, the first two maybe are too easy.
Would this be like non-elephant and like non-whale?
No. Yes, non-whale, non-elephant, largest land mammal.
I would say a hippo or a rhino.
Ooh, those are okay. Yeah, those are good choices.
You're correct. It's the rhino, and the hippo was also just like next on the list too. So
Yeah.
I know my large.
yeah, my science is just terrible. When I was looking at it, I'm like, after looking, I'm like, oh yeah, rhinos and hippos are mammals, and then I'm like, what did I think that those were even? Like I'm like, that's not a reptile, but
I
like,
don't think it's a
it doesn't
fish.
it doesn't scream mammal to me when I look at a rhino.
Right, it's
you
just
know?
too big. It's got like armor plates on it.
Yeah,
I'm always curious how big like you ever see like the ancient mammals, like the great sloth, the one that they use make the huge tunnels. I'm always curious how big those guys would have been.
Probably pretty damn
Bill
large.
Kazmaier, speaking of huge things, tells us a
Bill.
story one time about men that were 100 feet tall. So if men were 100 feet tall, I can only imagine the size of the
Everything
animals at the time.
scales. Yeah.
So Bill believes in giants.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
very
told
much
us it's
so.
from the book of Enoch. It's not a
Oh, of
book
course.
in the Bible, but it's a
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
biblical book of and we've got a good YouTube video where he's talking about the giants that actually what we were talking about is like half Thor and Brian, and he says, well, those aren't the largest men to roam the world because there were
Wasn't he talking about them finding bones of men 100
Yeah.
feet tall, things like that?
yeah.
Well, the good conspiracy where we're on it. Good conspiracy
Yeah.
is that they have like there's like a library with giant books, where it would have been like a book that had been suitable for a giant, right? So they just have all these giant books that, for some reason,
Like when we say giant book, like how big are we talking here?
ooh, it would be way too big for just a regular person. So probably almost
Yeah.
like at least like a half a size of a person.
Okay,
Bigger.
okay. That is
So
a big
it
book.
would be very big books with big letters. So
That would have to be a big library.
yeah, so I forget where I found that, but that was deep into like a TikTok thread
Yeah.
or TikTok, especially but it's funny. Ever since TikTok came back online, it's less conspiracies. So I haven't really dived in, but like 2020, 2021, prime conspiracies.
No, they're hiding.
It's almost like
they're hiding those big books from people again.
Yes,
What they say about big books, a big library.
big books, big brains.
Yes. The Italian Stallion is what you're known as. That's your
Yes, sir.
nickname. Horse reference there. You have a do you have a horse background of some of sorts?
So my parents, they love horses. My mom like always wished she had a horse, but since my probably my teenage, we've always had horses. So we usually have them down in Florida, and then eventually came up to around the Boston area. So my hometown, in Cohasset, 45 minutes south. We have of course a couple of horses. So in the past, I've of course always put them in videos. Recently, I used one of them for a SBD shoot or SBD promotion. So I put some wrist straps on him. So and I took a bunch of takes, but like for somehow when I put the wrist straps on him, he like stepped in the right direction. So it looked pretty good, and it got the attention of the president, Ben Banks, over at SBD. So it went pretty far up. But yeah, I do enjoy horses, but I think the Italian Stallion, of course. So I think they of course coined the Rocky, but especially as when I was at 105 days, of course, very strong, explosive, fast. And I went on in 2021. I went on a slew of like winning all the major ones at the time for the 105s, breaking 3 world records in the same time, the same year. So at the very end, when I won my world strongest man title, I got coined the Italian Stallion, and life has been amazing since. It's been fun.
What is your, you kind of you went over it pretty quickly there, but your strongman history, because I explained that to Tommy, I'm like that. He was like the best 105. And if someone just saw you for the first time today, I mean, how much do you weigh right now? I mean, you're huge.
I was 297 this morning.
Yeah,
So
When you said 105, I'm like, what 10 years ago?
So what was your trajectory there?
sure. So like you're talking about like the
Yeah,
Like
like when you started, how big were you, and like
Oh,
how
sh-
long did you stick around in 105s, and
Oh
what
man!
was it?
All right, I'll give you a little synopsis, and if I ramble, just feel free to chime in. I tend to ramble and go off
That's what
tangents.
this is for.
Yeah, so perfect. All right, so 2012, bodybuilding coach introduced me to strongman. I said no way to bodybuilding. Stuck to strongman. So slowly ramped up. I was like 228 when I first started. So coming off of like a wrestling background, I needed a competitive edge. Strongman was perfect. It filled in. But at that time, like when they introduced me to strongman, I had no clue about weight class. I always just thought it was the big guys. So I'm like, oh, this could be a sport for me. So competed twice the first year, 3 times, 4 times. But I always feel that I've had like so far, like this is my 14th season, or I've been 13 years into the sport since I started 2012. I feel like I've had 3 different careers within, I would say, strongman. So the first career would be, I would say, pre-pandemic. So 2012 all the way to the end of 2019. So those years, I lived in South Boston for most of the time. I sold my place in 2020, so I was a big partier. So I never really bought in 100% to strongman. I was like, I would probably could have done a little more competitions, took my training more seriously. But it took, I would say, like strongman being taken away from me to really kind of buy in. But even those early days, I still did some pretty cool things. My first big like podium, I took second at World's Strongest Man 105. So that kind of put me on the spot a little bit. I followed up with that with like a 3rd place at America's Strongest Man. I won my pro card back in like 2015. So 3 years within the sport. But even those years, I was getting anywhere between like first few years like 235, got up to 240. But like the biggest cut I would say was at those times anywhere from like 242 to 245. And then at times I would bounce around and like for instance being a 105K pro or guaranteed to do America's Strongest Man 105 kilo, but there's not a lot of ton of competition at the time for Strongman Corporation, but we could always got invited to do the Arnold Amateur Heavyweight. So I competed in that 3 times just to kind of get experience, do like heavier weights, mix up with the heavy boys, and of course experience the Arnold because of course I always enjoyed the Arnold. And I'm going off a tangent. And I feel like the Arnold of the old days, I'm a little more privy to because they used to have like all the little booths at the expo. I think that's one thing that's missing. You used to have like rows and rows of tiny little companies.
We talk about that a lot. We spent a lot of time even this year, like even in 2019, it was such a different feel because there would literally just be rows and rows where they're all a 10-foot booth and you could walk down and like, you literally couldn't even see everything that was there because there was no way to actually
take too much time.
Go through. It's so much not like that now. It's weird. I don't even know how to explain it to someone if this was like their first experience this year because it is a much different vibe. I don't know.
It's the space is more consolidated now, so it's it's a little more tough. But I did really enjoy it because I used to see a lot more. I would say even more, not only it's like celebrities, but you also had like more influencers too. So I brought a lot more of those people, but I still think it's the Arnold now. It's getting back to its former glory, but just like the little boutiques is kind of what we're missing.
I agree.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're hopping into the Arnold. We're getting huge. We're lifting big weights. I never really placed very, very high. My best, I got up to like one year, I think it was 2018. I got up to like 265 just to do the heavyweight Arnold. And I took the top 10, make the main stage, and I took 11th. So that was a big bummer. But after then, I started cutting back weight. So we get all the way to like kind of get through the pandemic. So the pandemic hits. And that's at that point, I was like almost ready to kind of like jump in and go a little more full force. I started, of course, my now wife, I was dating her at the time. I was partying less. I was getting more kind of serious. Like, right now, strong. There's a lot of good momentum in Strongman, but when Strongman got taken away, that's kind of as like if it comes back, I had no clue. I thought the world watched too many movies. I thought the world was gonna kind of get wiped out and everything that we know was gonna be different. Yeah. Mad Max. Here we go. But anyway, it came back. So I'm like
chasing us with guitars and
yes. It just those guitars, like the guitar guy gets me hyped up. So I could use something like that, even though I'm very privy to dubstep and electronic music. But anyway, that's another story. So when we got back into it, I would say I'm going to go all in. So my weight started being around like 245. When I went on like the slew of wins, I was anywhere to 248. In 2022, I started getting like a little too heavy. Like I was in a perpetual like calorie deficit and I was struggling to be like 255. So my body wanted to be like 260. And then I had one really tough weight cut at America's when I won my second American Strongest Man title at 105. And then I was going to do, at that point, I was like, all right, the thing with motion, everybody was like, you have a great frame. You should go heavyweight. I think you do really well. I was going to do one more World's Strongest Man 105 title. Ended up getting hurt during like the cut. Or like 3 weeks out just a bit. Like I had some SI joint issues that I didn't really know was an SI joint. I thought it was just my back. Wasn't treating it right. Was being dumb. Anyway, I was like, this is the time where I need to start packing on the weight. So I was like, all right, no more 105. So 2023 was Arnold Amateur was my first kind of big showing. So I got up to 275 there. Later in the year, I got up to like 285 at the Europes. That year, last year, I got up to like 290. So I was at Worlds. I was anywhere between like 285 and 290. Later this year, I got up to as high as 310 pounds, and then getting into this prep for yours. It's a very like cardio based, very fast moving. Giants Live usually are bing bang. So like every 45 minutes is the event. So you got to be in good shape. So I've lost weight, but now this is the leanest I've been at 297. So the abs are coming back. My goal is to look at like a 105 at 300. So I think I'm still 1 year away from like being like my final form, maybe
Yeah.
we're saying
The
three
total
or
package.
like a golden freezer or whatever you want to equate it to. But I'm like probably 1 more year away from that. But World's Strongest Man, when I was about like 290, that was like 18 months removed from my last weight cut.
Are you going to get to compete at World's Strongest Man 2025 again then?
That's the goal. That's the goal. So
Yeah.
there's no direct invites. So last year I made it in. It was like, we're gonna throw you in Europe. So if you do well, you're into World's Strongest Man. But we get to World's Strongest Man, and there's 5 unqualified guys among the 12 guys. So all the other athletes have their World's Strongest Man invite. So the top 2 of those guys will make it on to World's Strongest Man. So when we went out, there's a youngster named Andra Foitu from the Czech Republic. He's very good. He ended up taking 4th, and then I took 6th, right behind him. And the guy that took 5th place was already qualified. So I was the second best guy. So I was almost like in the mini World's Strongest Man group already. But the other guys I was competing against, I don't know if you guys ever met Paul Dwyer.
Oh, yeah. We've had him on the podcast before, yeah.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah.
Lottie,
Yeah.
yes. I'm excited to catch up with Paul. But the other 2 guys was a guy from Sweden, Frederick Johansson, who's just like a 370, like 6'5" monster. Ended up not having like the best knees, so he kind of had a tough time with the Viking press. And then you had Konstantin Jarnashia, who's a 3-time finalist. So
Yeah.
in the rules meeting, I'm like, shit, there's a lot to get into Worlds, but I just kept my focus going. And even during that contest, I ended up tearing my bicep halfway. I wasn't quite sure if it was the bicep or was the forearm. It was kind of iffy. It was kind of iffy. But ended up finishing the contest, getting the qualification, and like, all right, we're on to Worlds. But again, I'm getting sidetracked. But so this year, there's 6 unqualified. I think out of the 12 guys, there's 6 guys that are uninvited. And this year, it used to be 30 guys go to World's Strongest Man. Now it's 25, so it's even a little more competitive. So my guess is that they got to take 2 from Europe. So the top 2, and out of that group, I'm not sure how familiar you guys were all the names, but of course it's gonna be Andra again, Foitu, myself, Patty Haynes, who's a kind of great up and coming British kid or English kid. Then you had Ron O'Hanlon,
Yep.
Ivar Smartstellis, and then Mr. Paul Dwyer. So
some stiff competition.
Absolutely. And then like Ivar's took 10th last year at World's Strongest
Right.
Man. Of course, he took 2nd at Europe's. So it's very good competition. So I got to compete very well, or I compete good enough and a bunch of people get hurt and I get in. So last year there was 5 injuries. So I'm not saying that's going to happen again. There's been only 1 injury right now. I think maybe Maxime Boudreau might not do Worlds because he hurt his bicep, but that's for him to determine and for him to decide if he's not able to go. But I guess it's more of a belly tear rather than distal.
Why do you think why are they taking 5? Why are they doing 25 instead of 30?
I don't know if they're trying to cut cost or
Right.
trim the fat a little bit. There's been 25 athletes in the past. I think at the 2020 Worlds, like the COVID Worlds, they had 25, and I think the year after, and then they went back to 30. They also doing no rest day this year, so it's qualifier, final. So
Oh, that's good. You guys were resting too much anyway.
yeah, absolutely.
Didn't want to perform too well.
They used to do like a week break.
Yeah.
In between.
Mhm.
Like, and the
Yeah.
guys would just chill and
Go sit in
hang
the,
out with
the
if they're in Africa,
the
go to the
pool at
zoo.
whatever country they're like whatever country they're in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the one. So I got to perform in Europe. So and I'm 36. It's almost like every day for me now is kind of like, not every day, but these contests is kind of like, this could be it. So I really got to
Right.
go out there and perform like there's no tomorrow.
You talked about dubstep.
Yes.
Do you like techno at all?
Absolutely. I like all forms of electronic. It's like even like the weird techno that come out of the 80s, and then you had the 90s, early 2000s.
What would you say if
Tommy,
someone
can you-
invited you to a party and they said it's fast techno, like 140 BPM or more? Would that register with you?
I think so. I wouldn't know like exactly what artist and songs, but
because that was
might
that's what
have
happened to us in front of the Arnold. We were standing out there trying to decide what we're going to eat, and this kid came over with a flyer. He's like, "Hey, you guys like techno?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, we're having a rave, fast stuff, 140 BPM or more." I'm like, cool.
And I had no frame of reference, so after he left, I'm like, Tommy, what does that mean? You know what? You know, I have no reference here.
Your normal like 120.
Guess. You ever see like the Belgian music, like the Belgian
Oh,
house?
right, yeah, more that like European kind of stuff.
Yes, like the really hard hitting bass, like douche, 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 like really douchey.
Okay, so I got to ask. I'm also 36. I was also a very large dubstep fan at the time. I still kind of am to us. I mean, I still do like dubstep. So I got to ask, like, who are your favorite dubstep acts? You said Skrillex already.
I think, well, Skrillex was my favorite. He was the best mixer and the best one to see live because he always had like someone going one way and then he switches off of you. And then I saw like when he did like Dog Blood, when he had this the collab with, I'm mixing up the names right now, but his name is, it's not important, but when he was in Dog Blood. And then when he was a Diplo, when he was Jack U.
That was like,
fun.
oh, I love that. Yeah, that was so good.
And then he stopped. He only had like maybe like a 2 or 3 year stretch, but Dr. P was very fun. And
oh,
like
I don't think I've ever even heard of him.
English. So I don't know if you're familiar with like Flux Pavilion and
Gold Dust and Can't Stop. I mean, those are on the constant gym workout playlist.
So in 2023, I went to Ultra. I don't know if Ultra Miami, and they had like a back-to-back or a versus. So they kept doing outdo each other. So Dr. P versus Flux Pavilion. So that was a lot of fun. And then like right when that happened, when I started going to the festivals, like trap music, like Trap House came out. So there was like Getter and Dylan Francis. Of course, Datsyk. We used more dubstep. Excision. I saw a few Excision shows. But now I just kind of listen. I can't go to festivals anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
Like if I just stand the whole time and my knees get sore, I can't jump around like I used to.
And it really does. Like when you go like to a concert now, you're like, is everyone in high school or am I just that old now? I can't tell.
I felt like that even when I was going there at like 24.
Yeah.
Always just too old wherever you go.
Yeah. I hear that. How about Knife Party? Does Knife Party sit in there?
Of course.
Oh yeah.
I've probably seen them once.
Have you?
Yeah, Knife Party was always great. Of course, Internet Friends and all the 30 remixes of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's the top Skrillex pump up song?
Ooh, I think Bangarang has been. I've had Bangarang a lot, and even in competitions, I asked to play Bangarang when it was like a poolside competition in Hungary. I'm like, put on Bangarang. Even out when I did like one of my leading up into like a log record, I had Bangarang. So that's been in there. I think the Devil's Den VIP, where he played in that Jack U set. That's a huge one. There's a remix with it's Jumo Daddy and Skrillex, and it's his Recess. It's a Recess VIP. Okay. That's always a pretty hard hitting one.
I'll check that one out.
But I could go on, and then I think there's Scary Broly Dub, which is kind of like his kind of more kind of reggae dubstep mix of
like Scary Monsters and
Scary Monsters.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, how about does Purple Lamborghini fit anywhere in there?
Purple. It's pretty cool. But that's almost like
it's a little different.
It's not different, but I was like that was like more mainstream like Skrillex.
That was yes.
But that's definitely in there. But I'm probably privy to more of the classics and the.
I agree. I always reserve Purple Lamborghini as purely a pump up song. So I would not let myself listen to it any other time than like a Big Lift. So that one still has a special spot in my heart there.
And then you got to do the lift when the drop comes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Time it just right.
I mean, if you're not timing it up, what's the point of even putting the song on, right?
I almost mixed up the timing on the Bangarang when I asked it for the Animal Cage because I went too early, but then I lapped it and then I took my breath and pinned it to my chest and stood up, but then I took a step forward. But when I locked out is when he goes Bangarang, and then
so it all worked out then.
That's good.
Very fun.
Yeah.
You're somewhat uniquely qualified for this.
Yes.
You've been around the gym a lot, of course, in your day. You're familiar with a horse stall mat, I would assume. The 4x6, 3/4 inch thick piece of rubber that they have a special place in our heart here at Massenomics. Also, you kind of have a horse background. So first question, have you ever seen horse stall mats used with horses in any way?
Of course.
Okay.
Even even at my parents' place, there's
There's horse stall mats around then.
yes, but
Okay.
we've they're very hard to cut if you had to get them into like the barn properly.
Don't get
But,
us
yeah.
started.
I know all too well. Yes. Yeah.
And I think I
so
have
that-
some horse stall mats for like what I do, even where I deadlift right now. I
Yeah.
didn't even like look up gym mats. I just went to Tractor Supply and got a couple.
That's the thing.
couple
So
stalls.
here's my question for you. You're a great strongman competitor, and I assume you probably do fairly well at moving events. I would assume. I
Sure.
don't know. How many horse stall mats do you think you could drag at once? What's the number that you're putting on it?
So I imagine you gotta pick up the horse stall mat. You gotta pinch them with your hands, right?
I
So
think
you-
so. Somehow, yeah. It's how many you can. So how many you can grab is a factor, and you're not going to pick up the entire stack. Half the horse stall mat's still going to be laying on the ground. So I think it's a bit of a drag event.
Yeah, it depends on like how wide. If you're gonna go like a super wide one,
Right.
I would say at least like in this. And then are we dragging on other horse stall mats? You dragging on like
That's
turf? Maybe
that's
if I
the
brought it
X
to a-
factor.
If I brought it to the
Yeah.
Arnold
Yeah.
convention floor, that would like slide, right? So
Right. I would even say give you the benefit of the doubt and put it on like Arnold convention floor, like concrete.
Yeah,
so
like a
the
smooth
friction
surface.
isn't terrible.
I would say like 3. That's my guess. I'm not sure how that would place with like
I think maybe you could do more than that. I don't know.
do more.
I
All
think
right.
you
I don't
could
know.
too. I could see you doing 4
I-
pretty easy.
I
I
think
think
the
you
way-
could do 4 or
what
5.
makes me
I don't
great-
know if how thick would be 5? They're 3/4 inch thick each.
So you'd be
Yeah,
4 would
and
be
then-
3 inches. So what? Sorry, yeah, right, yeah, 3 inches.
But
Yeah,
the thing
yeah.
that makes me a great presser is what is my shorter wingspan. So
Sure.
that's the thing. So I had to get depending on how far I would have to get out and
Right,
grab it.
right.
But I think for the most part, yeah, I would say 3 to 5 would be probably a good one. I think
Okay.
maybe worth trying, worth exploring. But they have to be horse stall mats. It can't be like a gym horse stall mat, right?
No, I
we're
mean they need
talking
to
the
be genuine
authentic.
TSC horse
Yeah.
stall mats.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Perfect.
Winner's Circle podcast. Did you say? Were you kind of alluding to it at the beginning of the episode, like you don't record those while you're like deep in prep, kind of, or what were you mentioning about that?
You guys know how hard it is to like prep for a show,
For sure.
do the show, and then produce the show. You got to throw it. You got to throw, of course, a cover. So you got to, if they swear or the things you got to put out, you got to go back and edit it. So like, I would say if I do a good job, I can turn around an episode in 3 hours. Like right now, I'm in the peak of my work as well. I'm an executive recruiter, and I'm now competition prep. So like, I don't have like 3 hours to spare right now. I could do it like maybe like when I'm not training as much, but just the fact that I have to put out 3 hours and when I have so many other kind of things going on, that's what's tough. And sometimes I'm happy if I can get like all my work done and my training, eating is fine, but just throw in another element. Sometimes it's a little tough. And then sometimes like, I don't really want to be as flexible when I need to focus on myself a lot. So
Right.
usually it's pretty tough. I've been trying to do more in-person stuff. I've done one done. I think I'm gonna try to do it in person with Pa at Europe. So
Oh,
I
nice.
try to get him on the stuff. He goes, nah, the online. He says that the online is shit. So I was like, I'll do it in person.
Yeah, it
one.
took us a lot. It took a lot of badgering from our listeners and stuff to get him talked into doing it with us. We finally reeled him in at one point in time, but he was skeptical. at
So
first.
how do you guys reel him in? Do you guys have to like name call him and call him the C word? And
That's a term of endearment to him, but like I think the thing was we had enough of our listeners that were badgering him online
Yeah,
for long
leaving
enough that he was
comments
like,
on all of his
okay, I'm going to
posts
do it.
and, yeah, tagging him and things.
Just a little social bullying sort of stuff, nothing.
peer pressure is the
Yeah.
greatest pressure.
Yeah. So what if someone was going to listen to the Winner's Circle podcast, but they only got to listen to one episode? Do you have anything that would come to your mind of what you would direct someone to?
Some of the Colin Bryson ones are pretty interesting because he has some great
Yeah.
advice. His best advice is always like part-time strongman, part-time results, full-time strongman, full-time results. And then sometimes I mix my podcast and like my talks with Colin mix up. So I forget if this isn't a podcast or if this is just on a phone call with him. Sometimes I'm like, what's the minimum that you have to be for a great strongman? He's like, you can't think of minimums. You got to think of the maximums. So you got to think of like how far you can go. But his biggest thing is like, I think he said it even on the podcast, is just like, out of the common trait about all world strongest man winners, and even the high achievers, are just the belief. They all have the same belief that they can win strongest man. That's the biggest thing. I would say the commonality is just the belief. And how do you get to that belief, and how do you get that confidence to believe yourself that you're gonna win world strongest man? And that's almost like the main ingredient of what makes and breaks individuals.
Yeah, that's good. Colin Bryce is on our list of people we want to get on our podcast. We need to have you help us do that at some point in time.
All right, I'll talk to Colin. I have a call into him soon. So
all right, good.
I'll mix it.
We want to. What's the band? What's the video of him? What's his musical background? As long as we're on the music.
Oh, I think it was a cover. But he's
okay.
Space Cowboy.
Yeah, Space Cowboy. There you go.
Yes. So I think that was kind of like a one-time thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I forget, because I drilled him on it too. But yeah, I'm not even sure that's him singing. I think he's lip singing and having a good time. And he has I think it was in the 90s maybe, with
the mustache.
The girls are all in 90s outfits, which is, yeah. So it was a good time. And then some of the other ones, I enjoy. Kind of like I've known Trey since 2013, so I always enjoy my Trey ones. But I think you guys had him on. Lucas Haddon. He was probably one of my better recent ones. Same thing with that in Guadion.
You're saying Trey Mitchell when you say Trey?
Yes.
Or, yeah. We're big Trey Mitchell fans, so I'll have to check that out too.
I think he's the first one that he kind of turned me on to you guys. But also you guys have gone as far as my non-lifting friends. So I have my roommate from college who we wrestled for 4 years together, but he'll send me Massenomics memes. Just, of course, he knows I enjoy Strongman, but just those memes have gone to like non-lifting folks. So I think
you've probably seen it. Well, a common one I like to make a lot is I just take old World's Strongest Man footage, put it to whatever music, and put whatever on top of it. Like whatever. That's one of my favorite formats to do. Just because the old World's Strongest Man footage is just like, it's the gift that keeps on giving almost.
Always. Lately, even like last year, we of course, like, it was very comfortable, I would say. Even when we were competing, we had like a huge tent and stuff like that, but they went to like really cool spots and had like kind of like events based off of like geographically where they were. So
right.
And just
that
like
stuff
more
towards
one-off feeling events too, it wasn't so standardized.
Yes. But now you're going to have like the sponsors come in, the sponsors think what the events are, and the manufacturers. So I understand that piece, but of course, just if they can somehow maybe every so often, 1 year, like they get away from that, in 1 year they bring that back for World Strongest Man, that would be pretty cool.
I agree. Do you know what your first YouTube video is?
Oh God, well, I have a lot blocked, so
okay. So maybe it's not.
The one you can furthest find, I think, it's a vacuum cleaning video. Yes. So that was the only clean one I could post from college. So, but one of my best college one, or kind of, so I'll call it college one because it was only happened a month out after graduation. But I had a video of the Jersey Shore, in my experience, and that got onto like Barstool every year because they called it like the modern day Jersey Shore. Because I was out in Seaside Heights, like, and I was doing like man on the street interviews before it was cool. I should have stuck with that. I could have probably been more popular
that's
with
like
that
the
than
style
Strongman.
now. Yeah, that's on the street interviews.
So that was probably my popular one. But yeah, I have a lot that's blocked. Ones that would probably get me in trouble now. So, or not me. So I don't really care if I get in trouble, but more people that my friends are in it, they would get in trouble. So
right.
This is for you guys.
This vacuum one's pretty banging. There's more
is.
of that out there.
My buddy Nicky Allegrati, he's a great kid. Jersey. I know you guys like Jersey folks. I was listening to you.
Yes. Okay. we have this game we play with everyone that we have on. No, Tommy, I mean, is it okay for overrated and underrated?
Yeah, I think
Do
so.
you have anything
Let's
else
get to
to
it.
I did have one other Mount Rushmore, but maybe we just go to overrun. Well, let me do the other Mount Rushmore quick, just because
All
I'm
right, let's
curious
do
to
it.
hear your take. Your Mount Rushmore of Boston movies.
So you got to do The Departed.
Yep.
So that's always a great one. The Town, with the bank robbers.
Yep.
You got to put Goodwill Hunting in there.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
I was
classic.
hoping you'd say that. Yep.
And then a fourth one. Like Black Mass was cool, but it's not iconic. So that's the one about Whitey Bulger.
Okay.
Even though the part is about Whitey Bulger too. Let's see. The fourth one. All right. If I had the name right. Fever Pitch.
Yeah,
with-
that's right. Yeah, that's it. That's
with Drew Barrymore and Jimmy
and-
Fallon.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon. There you go. Yes. Yeah.
Here we go. Yep, score one for the fourth one.
Yes. Okay. All right. All right. No, so our last game is overrated, underrated. We play this game with every guest we've ever had on, at least for the last 5 years, probably. So it's just your job. We're going to shoot out a topic to you, and it's your job to decide if each one's overrated or underrated. The important thing is you can't ride the line. You have to definitively place it in each camp.
Do I need to say why?
Yes, you have
Yeah.
your druthers to elaborate as much or as little as you would like on
perfect.
each one. So overrated or underrated? Wiener dogs.
Oh, underrated.
Yeah,
They're the best. They're the most lovable. And even right now, I'm watching my brother's two dogs, and when I have those, like they stink. My wiener dog just smells great. She cuddles with you. I can take her everywhere. If I want to bring her on an airplane, it'd be really easy. Wiener dogs are underrated.
Are wiener dogs always friendly?
No.
Okay, I feel like I've heard someone tell me
mine's
like
very
wiener dogs,
shy.
you gotta be you gotta know what's up when you're around a wiener dog. Sometimes.
Yeah, so some of them can be kind of can be tough because they're supposedly the second most aggressive dog.
Really?
out
Oh,
there.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
But I would say for the most part, mine is just very lovable. She's shy. Some guys she gets a little scared, but if I'm always with her, she'll let you pet her and stuff like that, and she likes her sternum rubs. But yeah, not all wiener dogs are friendly.
What is the name of what's a wiener dog called? What's the name
A
of
Dachshund.
Dachshund.
And I have
what?
I have a mini, so she
Okay.
only gets up to
Oh.
like 12 pounds.
I wonder why wiener dogs are evolved to that shape. Like, is there's probably some reason that a dog was bred to look like that or whatever.
Well, the story, of course, the big ones were meant to chase badgers in the hole.
Okay.
So of course, I think they get their elongated
Oh, that long
bodies
body
just
helps
from
them get
going
down
through
there.
tunnels, and then the minis were bred for rabbit holes.
Oh.
Okay.
So she loves chasing rabbits, but she's like her awareness is not that great. So I'm always like rabbit, rabbit, and she's like looking everywhere, but right straight in front of her. So so maybe that's my part where I haven't trained her to be a pure blooded killer, but for the most part, she's very fast, but she's uncoordinated.
Okay. Overrated or underrated? The tsunami bar.
Ooh, I would say underrated. It gets a lot of heat, but I think it's a great tool, especially for building competence in athletes. So I had a little debate with Lucas Haddon on it. He's like, I'll never use a tsunami bar. I'm like, you don't have to. You're already pressing over 500 pounds. You don't need it. But like one of your lifters that like struggles with reinforcing his form, yes, it will build the confidence and it will force him to do good stuff, and it also will build speed. So it has its use for certain athletes. And I haven't even explored the whole like vast range you can use with it. I really use it a lot for pressing, but it's even in my latest block, but very underrated.
Tommy, have you ever used a tsunami bar?
I never have. No.
I've never really. We have, like the earthquake bar and the band bell bar and a couple of those, and I assume there's some similarities between that stuff. But
So I would say like the band bell, it's really like up like back and forth a lot. It will shake. Tsunami bar will be sometimes it will shake a little bit on you if you're going pretty heavy, but the main draw is the oscillation and the variable load throughout the lift. So even like squatting with it, you'll feel the whole load when you're even coming out of the hole. You'll feel that whole load at the bottom. So
Right.
and then it'll go and then it'll go weightless in the middle, and then the weight will come back down. So
Okay.
a lot of it's kind of just controlling the oscillation.
Nick, I need you just to tell Tanner that he needs to buy one. Just tell him. Tell him.
I think I can talk to my
do
guys.
think-
Okay. We
I
have this
do
bet
think I need
going where every year there's an over-under line on how many new bars Tanner's going to buy. And every year Tanner goes significantly over the number on barbells.
And I don't have a tsunami bar.
And he
so
does
that
not have a
actually would
tsunami
be-
bar, so this would
I'm
be
feeling
another
like I
one to
need
add
it
to
now.
the
The more we
total.
talk about it, the more I need it.
Is having too many bars overrated or underrated?
I mean, I have way too many bars, but I love it. But it's probably overrated for the most part. It's not necessary for most people, but I love it. But I think just generally speaking, it might be a little overrated. Although I would never be able to talk myself out of it.
And the total, I mean, we're talking here. What is the number at, like, Tanner? 60 something?
Probably, yeah. I suppose. I mean, we have a gym. It's Massenomics gym. It's kind of a little club gym. So there is a. Well, that's how I justify it. That
Now,
a whole bunch of people might use it.
Is like a safety squat bar? Is that included?
I consider that a bar. Yeah, like
All
my
right.
different axle bars and safety squat bars, and
Is a log considered a bar?
I usually don't consider the log a bar. I don't know why I draw the line there. I categorize that like when I inventory stuff. That's with my strongman equipment, not
Yeah.
with my barbells.
I would say
What do you
it's-
think about that?
I would say that's fair. Some people call it a log bar, but I think it's funny. Maybe like a football bar, I would call that a bar. Like it has.
I do
like,
call
the
that a bar.
It has the neutral handles.
What about the axle then? An axle, I usually lump those in with the bar, but we
Ooh.
actually had some debate about that. Do I put, is that a strongman implement or a barbell? I mean, it's both to an extent, but
that's a tough one. I think it could be interchangeable.
Yeah.
Depending on where you want to classify it, but I would say it's definitely in there. It's a very stiff bar. That's a little
Right.
wider.
right. Yeah, okay. All right. Overrated or underrated? Sword awards. So winning a sword as an
Yes.
award for competing.
I would say again underrated. There should be more weapons, more. Of course, I would like even a bigger sword. And of course, I was a big Zelda fan, so that was like the Zelda, like a Zelda sword. But yeah, that was my pro card sword. So that was very special and near and dear to my heart.
Where do you have the sword?
That's a good question because we moved to a different spot. I think it might be down over there with some of my other trophies, but I normally do keep it out.
Is it sharp?
I've sharpened it myself, so it came
It
dull,
is
but
now.
I've sharpened it. And then it was kind of dangerous, so it was in my Southie place or my South Boston apartment back when in my party days. So I used to like take it out, and one of my friends got really upset, and I was like, and my couch was kind of like just a kind of a party couch. I would stab the couch and get them all nervous. So yeah, it used to be dangerous. I definitely hit a few people with it. So, but good times.
Nicked a couple of ears here and there, but no big deal. All right. Last one, and this one's worth all the marbles. Overrated or underrated? Dressage. Do you know what dressage is?
I do not.
Or dressage? It's Tommy, do you know what dressage is?
Not really, no.
It's a form of horse riding performed in exhibition and competition. It's horse competition. It's an art sort of
Is it like when the
horseback
horses do
riding.
like the dancing and the prancing and
Yeah,
all that stuff?
it's like horse dancing.
Horse dancing. I like it.
I do like all horse events,
Well,
but since not enough people have heard about it, I will say it's underrated.
it may be an Olympic event even.
But it's
somehow.
like it's the when they have the very coordinated gaits, right? So they're almost like they prance and
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
just looking
they
here.
go
yeah,
and they
there's-
kind of go like left to right.
Yes.
out of their
yes.
head. Yes.
Yeah,
I would
extended
say-
gates, collected gates, flying changes in sequence, pirouettes, half pass. That's what Wikipedia says, at least.
Oh wow. Yeah, definitely. All of these guys are very underrated. We need more of.
All right. Good news. As we played, we were tallying things up, and it does look like you passed overrated, underrated. So
Yes.
you can put it next to your sword.
Another win. Another win
Yeah.
to the books.
I do think. I guess we hadn't warned you on this. I do think the show is a feeder for World's Strongest Man, also. So passing overrated, underrated should get you that automatic qualifier for 2025.
Perfect. I'll just confirm with Darren and Colin, and
No, don't worry about it. I think
Yeah,
we'll take
they
care of
know,
it. You
they
don't
know.
don't
You
need
don't
to
gotta say
check.
anything.
I'll just show up to Sacramento, even though they won't pay for the flights. I'll just show up. Hey guys, I'm here.
The Massenomics guys said it's cool.
You guys, have you guys ever showed up to a World's Strongest Man?
We talk about it just about every year, and there's either been some scheduling conflict or something, but yeah, I mean, we got to do it.
It's probably inevitable at some point in time, but
What about mid-May this year?
We do have some things in Sacramento that we could do. Also, Sacramento is kind of a good place for it to be for us, actually. We have talked about it. Unfortunately, we have several other trips. Have you been on Table Talk before?
I have.
I think you have. Yeah, I think I've
with
listened to
Dave
that.
2022.
Yeah.
So, I know, was it 2022 or was it 2023? I think it might have been 2023, right when because I was pretty chubby in it because I just started gaining weight. So it was just all like dirty bulk. So
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm chubby now, but I would say, yeah, that was that was a good one. So funny story about that. I wish I could take that conversation back because I feel like Dave would ask me a question and I wouldn't answer. I just went on my own tangent, said what I want, like said I want, like I felt bad. Yeah, I listened back to him, like I didn't enjoy like what I answered. I think I'm doing a much better job here, but
You're doing great.
But leading up to it, I decided to fly and do the podcast on the same day. So I flew over, but it was like a little plane, so I got a little nauseous, so I threw up on the plane. Like, that never happens to me. And then my plan is, because I told them, if I'm going to lead FTS, I'm gonna do like a heavy ass deadlift. So my goal was 765 for 3. I ended up hitting 765 for 2. But then for the rest of the time, I had like deadlift brain. So I'm going like deadlift brain into that conversation. So my thing is maybe get a nice rest, because it's 3 hours and he does ask you some pretty tough questions about like programming, and he loves mesocycles.
Yeah.
And he really loves to get deep in there. I just wasn't prepared for that.
Well,
so
do you program for people? Like, do you do that?
yeah,
sort of thing too?
I just officially started coaching. So now I have 6 great clients. I have 4 of them are local. I'm actually I'm going to do some strongman this weekend, and 4 of them are going to meet me there. So they might hop into my Europe Strongest Man training. All of them want to do it at this local competition. So I'm going to show them some keg training stuff too. So like some like keg pressing. You don't really see that much, but like keg pressing is pretty fun. It's a nice little art. So show them that. But yeah, I just started. So I have about six clients right now, and I've been denying people lately. So because I can't really take on too many more. I'm still like, a lot of it's kind of like for fun, because I eventually want to own a gym and be able to know how to mentor people and know what to program for them and what to do in person. But like, it's a good practice for me. But that's kind of like the ultimate goal, but it's tough to do that, compete, have a full-time job, be a great husband. You guys know, be a great husband. Yes.
Yeah,
so it's a balancing act.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think this is a great episode. I'm excited for everyone to get a chance to listen to it. We have a few listeners that have been very excited about us getting you on. So I think there'll be several people that are pretty pumped for this one. And
so where they tell you? They tell you on Discord. They tell you on YouTube.
A lot of our Discord. We have our supporting members. They get onto our Discord so that our most loyal, most frequent listeners, the ones that give us the most feedback, that usually comes through our Discord. Actually, yeah.
Oh, excellent. But I have a couple of questions for you guys.
Fire away.
A little turn the tables.
First, I listened to, I wanted to hear what you guys thought about the Arnold, so I listened to that last episode probably a day ago. I'm glad that you guys were happy with the bathroom situation at the Arnold. It's funny, after I stopped by the booth, I was waiting for a toilet, and I actually saw Tommy walk by, and I kind of chuckled. I'm like, I wonder what he thinks of the toilets.
Yep. They passed this year.
So with you guys do the questions, like for podcast wise, like you say favorite questions. So like the Mount Rushmore, and then the overrated, underrated is usually your favorites.
Yeah. Those are staples for us.
Those are like the
sure.
recurring segment that, you can always build an interview off of.
Of course, my favorite is always what grinds your gears, like in the world of Instagram lifting, and like in today's, like, what do you see on your phone, or what do you see in the gym to just like, that's not right? What pisses you off? So what grinds your gears, Tanner and Tommy?
Well, first I would say this is that Tanner and I over the years have probably become quite, I don't know, passive and zen with that. We don't care about a whole lot of things. But maybe the one that bugs me is maybe like the fake flexing that people do of like, whether it's like showing off too much of like, oh, I got all this crazy I built this crazy gym. I got this crazy house. It's like, this crazy whatever. It's like, I don't know. Do you have that thing? Is that real? Or is this just like a pretend thing for Instagram, you know?
Is that like a Greg Doucette kind of thing? Like when he has like the McLaren and
So, see, that's the thing. I don't
I
like,
fancy cars and fancy things and fancy supplements, book builders.
yeah, I don't know. Cause like the lifting thing, there's just so much like, I don't know. It feels like there's so much just garbage, like whatever lifting out there that I can hardly even be bothered by lifting stuff anymore. That's kind of where I'm at on that.
I would say, just generally speaking, and this is okay. I understand. Actually, most of the time, it doesn't grind my gears. Sometimes I say grind the knurling off my Texas Power Bar. That's how I would describe it. That really grinds the knurling off my Texas Power Bar. But one thing that does kind of suck, I think, and we probably even fall into it to a certain degree at sometimes, and everyone does to a certain degree, but that everyone, like, everything's got to be sensationalized a little bit, or like people have to be like so hardcore into something because it's just like what they need to do on social media to get the engagement. And I kind of get it. We do, like, everyone does it to like some degree, but when people take it really far, and it even goes to what Tommy's saying, kind of, then I'm like, I don't even know if that's really what you're like. Like, if it's like Greg Doucette, I'm like, I don't really know that that's what you're really like. It's like your social media thing.
You're like a caricature of who you probably actually are. Yeah, that is
right.
Yeah.
I always say like social media should be a good extension of yourself. It should never be its own like device, right? So like when they meet you in person, they're not disappointed or not anything. They're just, I always try to be more, I think I'm more like, even in my own vlogs, I've come off more like dull and boring. And then in person, I'm more happier and chirpier and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
it's hard though, because it is aligned. And like, you're right there, Tanner, on that. The sensationalizing the character thing, but also like you do got to be entertaining and like being just like mellow. And I mean, we're probably like guilty of that more than anyone. It's like, we're probably almost too mellow at times. And like, that's one thing that we have put more effort into is like, all right, bring the excitement a little more, like, especially on the YouTube side. You know, it's hard to be like over the top for 2 hours on a podcast. Like, that's kind of crazy. But like on YouTube, you know, riding that line of like, be entertaining, be fun, be exciting, you know, have some engaging content, but also like not going totally off the rails into whatever you're talking about.
Absolutely. I had a buddy on. Of course, I started a podcast with a old buddy pal of mine. He wanted to be kind of the goofy, kind of crazy. I was like, each show needs to have some sort of value, or else people eventually are going to get sick of us and kind of move on. So I kind of like, he wanted to kind of go like party frat boy podcast a little bit. It's a little bit too far this way. I'm like, this is not Call Her Daddy. This is Strongman Winner Circle. We're winners here.
Yeah.
So we rolled them out. Eventually I gave him the boot and just went solo. But I think it is definitely easier with, I think, having a couple, like, you guys do a good job of double teaming your guests. So hands off to you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I think that's a good question. I think what Tommy said, though, is true. Also, that we've done it long enough that most of what other people are doing doesn't bother me too much. I usually figure most people I give people the benefit of the doubt. They have good intention behind whatever they're trying to do. And I'm like, I don't know. If someone likes it, good for them. Maybe it's just not my thing. Maybe I don't pay attention to it. But if someone likes it, then that's fine. That's cool.
Well, and
so that's coming of age. Just you guys are getting wiser, pretty much.
Maybe a little bit, but also
I don't want to say it in a way like we're patting ourselves on the back, but like.
But you'll notice this. Like, I mean, you've been around a while. You know, like at the end of the day, it kind of is a small industry, and like what goes around comes around. Like, you do have a reputation, and people. I mean, whether you think you have one or not, you do. And if it's for the right or wrong reasons, people talk. And even guys like us that live out in the boonies in South Dakota that don't see anyone, when we see people love to give us the lowdown on everyone. And I mean, like, so like people have a reputation, whether they want to think they do or not. Yeah, so it's something to keep in mind.
Very much so. But those were all my questions, guys.
Excellent.
I appreciate having me on. I don't know if you guys have any more questions, thoughts, concerns.
No, that's awesome. I would say we want to wish you well at Europe's, and I hope that I think you deserve to be at World's Strongest Man, and I think it'd be a shame if you're not there. So I think, however, I hope Europe's goes really well, and that just is solves the that places you there. That would
Yes.
be my hope.
I'm ready to kind of show the world. So the animal cage gave me a lot of good confidence. So
Mhm.
took that confidence into Europe. And what I was saying before, Colin was saying before, it's all about belief. Believe in yourself.
Excellent.
That's right.
Thanks for coming on. I'm glad we got to meet you in person.
Yes, absolutely. I was like,
this
I
last
can't
weekend
not say hi. I was gonna come Saturday, but Saturday was nuts.
A little
I'm like,
wild.
I'm gonna come Sunday. I'm gonna creep over there.
Yeah, I saw you on the SBD stage once or twice when I walked by, but that's pretty on hollowed ground up there, so I wasn't going to creep up there. But I'm glad we got to see you.
You're always welcomed.
All right, awesome, awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks,
a lot, Nick.
man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
We'll see ya.
Yeah, see you later.
Cool beans.
I just about reported him, but I had to go back and click the check mark. I didn't want to
Yeah.
report him, but those are Park the Count, Harvard Yard, cooled beans, right?
I didn't know if you're going to say Skrillex Cool Beans.
Ooh,
or,
yeah, that would work too. Yeah, yep.
Skrillex is really the only artist I knew in the whole conversation. So, would Skrillex be the most popular? I mean, I know a lot of Skrillex
probably the
songs.
most
Is there anyone
crossover
that's more-
appeal. Yeah, if
Right.
you're gonna say just straight up like dubstep, yeah, like I would say,
Right.
the
or is
most-
there anyone that I'm missing that would be more mainstream than that?
I mean, if you were like gonna say, I mean, there's like purists that will be like, oh, Skrillex isn't hardly dubstep, but I mean, if you're gonna just for what people
because
consider
it's
dubstep,
what is it that it's not dubstep though?
Well,
like it's
there's like
just like people would say that because it is so popular. Then they don't want
it's
to-
all
yeah,
bro
yeah.
step or stuff like that.
Right,
It's like
right,
things
right.
people use, but I'm like, that was what put that like aggressive techno sound on the map. You know,
How many BPMs do you think Skrillex is usually?
probably depends on the
Yeah.
remix or not. I don't know. They're probably most are probably in that 120 region. I don't know.
Okay, I mean honestly, I'm not coming to a rave unless it's one. If it's
Right,
anything below
like-
140,
Yeah, 140. It's like just too slow. I can't even dance to it.
I love the way that guy told us. I'm like, I just
give us the
I just
breakdown.
had respect for that guy. I'm like, it seems like you're probably having a lot of fun with whatever you're
That's
doing.
what he had to lead
so-
with. Like, yeah, I got to
Yeah.
get the BPMs out there. That is the key differentiator for this rave we're having is the BPMs.
Yeah. That was a fun interview. That was
Yeah.
great. You know, we don't, like we said in 2025, we're kind of not doing quite as many interviews as we have in the past. So we're only picking the good ones from now on. And
If you make the list, that means you're good.
I think that was a home run choice
Mhm.
to get Big Nick on the podcast. So that was long overdue, probably.
Yes, it was.
You know what else is long overdue?
What?
Hearing about Juggernaut AI. Juggernaut AI is sponsoring the Massenomics podcast. You can check them out at juggernautai.app. It's the programming that Tommy is using as he prepares for potentially competing at the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic here in 2025. He used it in 2024. See if he runs it back here and hits even more PRs. It's been helping people at Juggernaut since 2009, been a trusting training source. It's helped tens of thousands of people get stronger. And there's other programming in there, but the tried and true to me is the powerlifting program. It's what I would steer people towards. I think that's Juggernaut's
That's the best place to
strength,
start.
is their powerlifting programming. There's alternative options in there, but that's where I would steer you. If you're interested in powerlifting training, increasing your squat, bench, and deadlift specifically, even if you're not competing, but you just want to ramp those numbers up, check it out. And then use discount code Massenomics. When you use it, it'll ends up being about $30 a month after a discount code. Thank you, Juggernaut.
This episode is also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. Barefoot Shoes are our favorite barefoot footwear to wear in the gym, at the Arnold, outside, basically any place you can think of that may require footwear. Barefoot Shoes are the go-to. Lately, we've both been rocking the Ursus low top, black canvas, gum sole, classic look, a little more under the radar, doesn't stick out quite so much if you want something a little more subtle. It is highly recommended, and it is, like all barefoot shoes, extremely comfortable. So comfortable that I made it through the whole Arnold without my feet didn't even get tired once that whole trip, Tanner.
Like magic.
If you want something that looks more like a traditional shoe, the Ursus version 2, Gen 2 is now out as well. That has that slightly thicker outsole that gives you more of that classic shoe look if you don't want to go step into full barefoot territory quite yet. When you're on the barefoot.store website, make sure to Use code Massenomics when you're completing your next purchase, and you could save 10% on your next order. Barefoot.store, code Massenomics, save you 10%. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Thank you, Barefoot. They're great. Okay. Did you list any of your used equipment yet? You were talking about?
Oh, no, I need to
Might
do
have
that
some
still.
equipment.
No,
We're going
that's...
to have some used equipment hot deals coming.
Yeah,
from
I'll be
people.
posting either this week or next week. I'll post in the Discord some old equipment. You know, I'm trying to offload over here. I'm flipping. You know, I'm in the equipment flipping business. That's all I do. I'm just buying and selling and trading all the time. It's like a full-time job, but it pays pennies on the dollar, so I just can't stop. Dude, there was though. I don't know why I hopped on my phone at some point and someone had a Rogue Rhino like new for $1,200 listed in Omaha, and I'm like, that is how you price that. And just that was like yesterday, and just out of curiosity, I'm like, is that still there today? And of course it's not, because when you price stuff to move, it moves.
But you list that at $2,000, it's going to sit a while.
Yeah. When you just discount shipping, yep, that does not move. No one cares.
Right. What you got? A couple other topics in here. I see. On the
okay,
list.
yeah, a couple things. So, first, Coop put his home gym tour video for 2025 on YouTube, and
Yes.
I'm not a Coop hater. I'm not gonna say I'm a Coop lover, but I'm not like a Coop hater like a lot of people. Like, it seems to be so popular to be these days.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I mean, whether you like him or not, he has the best production value and pumps out basically the most content out of anyone in the space when it comes to pure equipment reviews. So
undeniable.
So I keep up. If it's something that I don't care about and have no interest in, I usually don't watch the video. I might like watch the first minute or two, but there's certain things I'm like, nah, I have no interest in this product, so I just skip it. But gym tour. I'm a guy that likes a gym tour. I've been a part of a few gym tours in my day. Got to see how this guy's doing it. A couple things that really stuck out to me. Now, I will admit, up until I was a home gym guy a year ago, I didn't pay the closest attention to most of what Coop did. Like, I've watched way more garage gym reviews videos in the last year than I have in my life. But one thing that stuck out to me that I don't remember them doing much ever on a video is that the camera guy was mic'd up and was talking to Coop a little bit. Not a ton, but a little bit.
A little bit of our style. There,
and I'm not going to say we invented that style or anything, but
that is
that has been our like, since we really started like cranking away on YouTube a little over a year ago here. That is what we figured out was our format is, for the most part, the guy running the camera is always mic'd up. If we're not doing like with a guest, you know, if it's Tanner on screen, like they were with this one guy on screen, then the guy on the camera is going to be mic'd up and there will be some conversation. So I was surprised to see that. I thought that was an interesting thing. I don't know. They're probably big enough with all of their pillars they have that they weren't paying attention to us, but
no,
I did think it was interesting that was a format that they're using there.
The second I hadn't watched this video, I saw you made it a topic, so I had to go watch the video, and that was the number one thing I noticed about the video. I'm like, hey, that's the thing we do.
It actually increased as the video went on.
Because they don't do that. Like, I've never seen them do that before.
Yeah, that's what. I was not familiar with it. Like, there's definitely other characters in the Garage Gym Reviews universe, but it's. I just don't remember the camera guy being much of a part of it in other videos. So that was one thing that stuck out to me. The other thing that I did really like that was quite funny was how right away early in the video, Coop's like, if you don't got equipment that you're not using, get rid of it. And like immediately that stuck out to me. I'm like, is that actually words he lives by? Because he has like 2 full garages of just stuff. That seems hard to believe he's using all of it. And then of course, like it wasn't even minutes later. He's already like, I don't even really use this. I don't really use this. And then they keep playing back his soundbite of, if you don't use it, get rid of it. So I thought that was pretty funny that they were kind of ragging on him. Like, hey, bringing a little personality to it, humanizing it. This is good. You guys should do more of that.
It was overall a very good video too.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, with unlimited money and space, I don't think I would have that many. I would not have that many Prime machines in my garage. I can tell you that. But
I know exactly how many prime machines I'd have in my garage.
I mean, I don't know how many machines in general, but I definitely would not have that many prime machines in my garage.
You know what machine I was pretty intrigued by that I'm like, I would like to have that is the leg curl
that hamstring machine.
I'm like,
that was kind of interesting.
Damn, he's selling me on this one. I'm like, I like the looks of this hamstring curl.
I didn't realize, is that even like, is that new even? Or I got the impression like it's been out of use, like it's out of production. It's not even at the
I assume you can't buy one of the, you have to find that used, but it did look pretty sweet. That you know, the one other piece that was kind of interesting to me though, Temple whatever Temple of Gain is. I know I don't even want to say it because I keep hearing it lately, and I don't want to add to the people saying the fire. But now this Temple of Gains one, the one that does like the same thing as the Arsenal strength, the side raise, the lat raise one.
That's
but
right.
It like did all this other shit too.
Mm-hmm.
But there again at Massenomics Gym, some of that stuff, like, I don't know, some of these more home gym design pieces that are made to do like 20 different things. Then you put it in a commercial
it's just
gym
asking
and it's
for
like
people to
nobody
just
knows.
bust that. That's
what I'm like. You can't.
You're gonna come in and somehow magically one arm's gonna be stuck straight up and one's gonna be stuck straight down, and neither one of them's gonna be moving.
Like too much,
and that's not a knock to their quality. I'm sure their quality is great and everything, but people will find a way if you give them a ton of adjustments to break that thing.
There's things like at a home gym when you're the only one using it, you can do.
Mm-hmm.
You put it even just a mildly used gym like that where there might be 20 different people using that. Someone's going to, when there's that many moving components, like, this machine does 7 things. You just got to move this,
pull this pin, slide this down, bump this
and
up
then
here.
I'm like, then the very next day I come in, it's broken.
Have you been in a commercial gym? Because people could hardly figure out the transformer bar. Like, and that's not an exaggeration. People hardly figure out the transformer bar. So to think that people are going to figure out all this sliding and popping and all that without an actual in-person demo, which will never happen, is wishful thinking.
But I did like the idea of that machine that, you can use it for side raises, but then also like a chest fly and a few other things.
That one did stick out to me
then
too.
when he like moved the entire component up and down, I'm like, that's where it lost me. I'm like, nope, it won't work. Yeah, I'm like, yep, that's too much.
That is the beauty of the
I need
Arsenal
things
one.
to move less.
Yeah, that is the beauty of the Arsenal one. You just do the thing. The pin goes in the weight you want, and you just lift the damn thing.
No, that was my thought process. I was sold on it. I'm like, that price is pretty reasonable, and then you can do multiple things. And then I saw him moving all the stuff, and I'm like, yep, nope, that doesn't work. Now I see why this wasn't. Now I see why this wasn't going to work.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else in that video that was of note to me, but those are probably the main thing. I mean, he still has so much stuff though. Like at the end of the day, it's just so much stuff. Like, more than I could imagine. Like it seems like honestly a headache having that much stuff in your house.
I did think too. One other funny part because he was talking about how he has everything like perfectly situated for it all to work right, and then like he went to go use something and he couldn't use it because it was like bumping into something else, and the camera guy was like, perfectly situated, huh?
Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of funny.
I don't think we ever talked about this in the pod. I think this happened. They talked about these like right when we were leaving for the Arnold. Is these new calibrated Rogue pound plates?
Yeah.
How do you feel about those, Tanner?
I couldn't really be possibly less interested in those. And generally speaking,
that's kind of how I feel too. First of all, I don't like thin plates. I don't think thin plates look cool. I think we talked about it at the animal cage. They had a bunch of Rogue, the thin black plates. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, let's make it look like the guys are lifting less. You know? So first of all, you have that. Like, at least if you're in the know, if they're red, you're like, well, they're kilos if you're paying attention.
Right.
But when they're black and thin, or they're just not red and thin, it's like, don't even know, man. I have no clue what's on there. So that's my first thing. Yeah. And then I don't know. Those plates don't really do like chrome plates look cool because they had, so Rogue came out with like some calibrated pound plates, and I think they were all like of a thinner design, weren't they? I'm trying to just remember off the top of my head. Yeah. And they had you would get options. It was a full set. You could get options that were colored, kind of like their kilo plates. You could get all black ones, and then I think they had all chrome ones too. I believe were the three
I'm sure they're
options.
really nice.
Yeah, and they
You
look,
know,
and
I'm
like
sure
we
they're
saw
all really
some of
nice.
them at the Arnold, like they look really nice. They are cool and everything, but I just, a thin plate does not do it for me. And also, I don't like 55-pound plates either. If I have a 55-pound plate,
I
just
don't.
make it a kilo plate.
Well, that's what I would say in general is like, let's not do the middle of the road thing. Either give me my Strength Co plates,
Yeah.
or my York plates, or my York milled, or if I want calibrated plates, give me the actual calibrated, colored powerlifting setup. Like if that's what I want to use, then let's just go the whole, let's go all in on it, and I'll use calibrated kilos and like do the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's how I feel too. I mean, the chrome ones are cool. Chrome plates are cool,
Yeah.
but the chrome ones would look, what would make them look way cooler? If they were the thickness of a regular plate, like the Avancos, what are they? The OMC's, Tanner, is that what you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, they look cool because they're thick, beefy boys. They're not little thin calibrated things. So yeah, I see these come out, and that was kind of my thought is like, yeah, I can appreciate the quality behind them and everything, but I have no buyer's remorse after having Strength Co plates. Like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything at all seeing those plates.
Wouldn't be for me either. I mean, if someone out there, if you're listening and you just bought those, you didn't get bad plates.
No, and I completely understand why some people would want these. Like, it is no doubt a high quality product.
It just doesn't fit into
something.
something I really. It just, like I said, it's just like in between the things that I like.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
you made the best compromised version of something.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Also, I don't even like to lift on our calibrated kilogram plates. Have you ever lifted those 55s around? They suck.
Yeah,
they don't have any lip.
And your bar math is all off. I get it.
Right,
If you're like a kilo guy all the time, you probably got your jumps down, but your bar math is so screwed up now.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. We used to be a proper country where we just put them in pounds and they weren't calibrated.
They were pounds and they were big. They weren't these skinny ass plates.
We didn't worry about if it weighed 45 pounds. It weighed what it weighed, and that was fine with us.
We got pound plates trying to be kilo plates. Kilo plates trying to be God knows what. I can't keep up.
Now I don't know what they are and which bathroom the plates are using.
Yeah.
Damn it. Ah. I saw some good feedback on my Kaz impersonation.
Oh, yeah. Kaz impersonation's great. I can't remember if we talked about that more. I was going to say, you got to bust that out more.
Did you see in the Discord I posted on a road to the we probably talked about that when we had left for the Arnold. I posted a road to the Arnold Kaz.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was good. I liked it a lot actually.
I got to work on it more. I can't really just do it on command. I have to you
have to feel inspired.
Has to come to me. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
the Kaz comes through me.
I don't choose when the Kaz impersonation. When I do it, it chooses me.
That's how most good things in life are.
Yeah. If I did the Kaz impersonation all the time, it wouldn't be that fun. You'd be like, okay.
You'd just forget who you are at that point.
Yeah. Enough with the Kaz impersonation.
Next thing I know, you're going on excavating adventures to find bones the size of buildings.
Maybe next week I'll do the entire episode as Kaz, like 2 hours of
just on and on and on.
Okay. Anything else for this week's episode?
I think that is everything I got.
We did just restock. I don't know if you can see on. Oh, you can see it on camera over my shoulder here, right?
Well,
there.
No, by the time I edit this, probably not. It might be close.
Well,
yeah, there
right
you could see that for sure. Yeah,
right there. We restocked the Silly Goose Barbell Club tee. One of our hottest, most recent tees, Silly Goose Barbell tee. It's right here. And you can see, well, you can't really see over here, but right along here, you can see we got stacks of them all over there. So check out the Silly Goose Barbell tee. Then even actually further over camera that you definitely can't see, we restocked our Crispy Boys banner. So that's the big 5-pack of Crispy Boy can banner. That's not a flag. That's actually on the vinyl material. So while supplies last, the Crispy Boys banner tee is back. The Silly Goose Barbell Club tee is here again. And then we've got our 3 new tees we talked about. The Deadlifter in red, the Dark Side of the Moon tee, and the Brick tee, the Brick Gym tee. And then the Black Lifting Department mesh shorts, the best mesh shorts that you'll ever put your legs in.
Can't go wrong with any of those.
Nope. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. So we're officially on the road to 600. We're calling it now. We're on the road. We've hopped on the on-ramp, and we're booking it towards 600, and big things are coming at 600. As you're listening to this, we are on the way back from our North Carolina adventure. So next week you'll hear about that.
All about it.
I don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we'll have something to say.
Yeah, I'm really curious myself. I can't wait to hear next week's episode so I can even hear what's going on. Leave us a comment on this YouTube video. Let us know what you thought of Big Nick as a guest. What's your favorite beats per minute to listen to if you're choosing songs
What's
based
your
on beats
favorite
per
Skrillex
minute?
song?
Yeah. Let us know your favorite Skrillex song. What else could they tell us in the YouTube comments? Should I do the Kaz impersonation next week?
Yeah.
Anything else that we talked about? What's your favorite Boston
Yeah.
movie?
Should Tanner buy a tsunami bar?
Should I buy a tsunami bar? If one
If
like
that
on
gets
this video,
if that gets 2 likes, Tanner's buying a tsunami bar.
5 tsunami bar comments on this video, and I'll buy a tsunami bar. I don't even know how much they cost yet. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Video gets
If he says
this
that he
video
has to
gets
do it.
5 tsunami, and at least the video also has to get at least 69 likes total. At least 69 likes total.
Okay.
If we get there,
you just have me very curious now what a tsunami bar actually costs. So I'm looking quick. Okay. Well, there's more than one option. I guess that makes sense. How many options are we talking
have
here?
to get more than one.
Okay, there are like 6 to pick from. So what's the normal one?
That's the normal's the tsunami.
Yeah, see, there's not any that are just the tsunami. There's Tsunami Bar Speed, Tsunami Bar Force, Tsunami Bar Max, Tsunami Bar SG20, Tsunami Bar SG50, and SG90. I just want the plain ones, and I don't know what that is my problem here.
That tsunami bar
Makes it really hard for me to tell you what it costs when I don't know what one you were talking about.
What's the range? What's what's the middle of the road tsunami?
Okay, well,
What are we talking?
there's not even really a middle of the road. There's a clear price jump in here.
Okay.
I'll say, yeah, we'll just say what I think like the SG20 to the SG90s. Those are in a pretty tight pattern. What do you think what are you thinking on those?
Oh, $450.
The SG20 is $400 and the SG50 is $410, the SG90 $420.
Okay, blaze it.
Oh, it's loadable up to 90 pounds. Really? Is that all you can load those things up to?
Well, those must be little guys then.
Yeah, the SG20 is only loadable up to 20 pounds. So maybe those aren't the ones you get. Maybe you get the speed.
No. Yeah, what's the speed? What's
so
that loadable
the
up
speed
to?
is 600. The Force is
Okay, there we
650.
go.
The Max is 700. Those must be the ones people go with then.
So you're going to be in the $600-$700 range.
The 6 Hondos.
All
yeah.
right. That's
Well,
a
but
higher end unit.
Am I an idiot? I mean, I'm clearly not getting something here because right here for the speed, loadable weight range 15 to 45 pounds. Is that for real? Is that all the heavier people load these things?
That's not what I thought.
Okay, the Force, Tsunami Bar Force, loadable weight range 90 to 270.
Okay.
The Max,
What's the max?
loadable range
That's-
up to 540.
Well, I just can't imagine not getting the Max if you're going to get one, honestly.
It's just, are you sacrificing that tsunami flex by going with the
Right,
heaviest one?
that's the thing, though.
That would be the
yeah.
question.
Right. Maybe that's the one before the Max is actually
Right,
the
because
right
these things
one
do
where it's like-
flex so hard. It's not like people are going to put like 3 plates on each side and be like, oh, I didn't realize you couldn't do that, because they do flex a lot, don't they?
There's a will, there's a way.
I mean, actually, I take that back. Yeah. It was just the first day you have it, you come in, it's just snapped in half on the floor.
Next to the Temple of Games thing that's like...
It's actually
there's
wedged
just
into the Temple of
pieces.
Games thing. It's now become the selectorized pin for the plates.
The $700 tsunami bar. Yeah, leave the tsunami bar comment. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.